Okay, let's talk to Eronimus. Let's see if they say his name. The man with a face so drawn it appears to be made of nothing but skin and bone fixes his unblinking bird-like eyes on you. The priest's simple black clothes have next to no adornments, and they do nothing to mask his unhealthy gauntness. Okay, so he does look very bony. In a cracked voice, he says, "The Emperor protects." Who are you? The Emperor protects, Reverend. But he protects only those who are pure of heart. Do you think yourself one of them? Be leery of this conviction of yours. Many who have risen to the pinnacle of faith have fallen from it into the embrace of pride most degenerate. And you must be the young von Valancius. That name carries weight, and it is a burdensome one, for its reputation suggests that Theodora encumbered it with many a transgression. I wonder, will you seek to shed them, or will you carry them onward, picking them along the way like ripe fruit and savoring the sweet poison? I have heard many exalt the deeds of your intellect. Your outstanding intellect is known beyond the bounds of your home system, and call your wisdom a gift from the Emperor himself. Fools, do they not know that the seeds of heresy sprout quickest in an enlightened mind? Understanding only erodes the will to act. How do you know who I am? You're saying Theodora was a transgressor, dogmatic persuasion. Make the sign of the holy Aquila. I put my faith in the Emperor. Keep up this attitude and you'll be featuring in my next confession. Jeez, heretical. Have no doubt about me. I'm a complete reprobate and an inveterate miscreant whose existence is an affront to the Emperor. I do not wish to enter a debate with you. Go on, let's say this, since it's 100%. Persuasion test succeeded. He gives you a scrutinizing look, then his tone softens. Well, then be twice as diligent, for this sector will seize any chance to test your faith. He looks at Argenta, who is standing nearby, and his voice softens slightly. Greetings, sister. I congratulate you on your return. Was your pilgrimage fruitful? It was, Reverend. Let it be known to you that Theodora von Valancius' ship was attacked by servants of the arch enemy who appall the heart of any righteous soul, she says, nearly hissing with fury. And not all of them met a fitting end. Some fled, and more than that, their blasphemous words clearly pointed to this attack being part of a larger design. Reverend Eronimus, I wish to join the esteemed rogue trader's crew and help protect the von Valancius dynasty from the forces of the arch enemy. I am divesting myself of the responsibility of guarding the footful reliquary. I would add something to that if doing so weren't beneath me. Sister Argenta stood by my side during the assault on the ship, and I could use her assistance going forward. Say nothing. Eronimus nods in thought. Follow the call of your soul, sister. The footfall reliquary will be preserved even without your contribution, as it was in all the years preceding your arrival. Eronimus smiled sadly. I know what it is that caused you to follow the rogue trader, Sister Argenta. You seek combat, for it helps you to forget how hollow and worthless our lives truly are. It offers the illusion of meaning. Perhaps you will relinquish this illusion one day, or perhaps you will die before that day comes. Regardless, I wish you luck on your new path. But before you start on a path towards your new destiny, I have a request to make of you and your companion. Many among my flock are from the poorest, most dispossessed people on Footfall. They brought me troubling news from Footfall Shadow Quarters, in the darkest corners where the liege wardens do not venture. taint has taken root. Footfall is consumed by profanity, but even here, true heresy, serving the archenemy, is a rarity. The cultists who now dwell in the shadow quarters mark their abodes with a sun inscribed blue and gold, and perform strange rituals in secret. The weak find solace in believing these reports to be rumors, but I well know that evil lurks all around us, and I wish to see retribution. I come across heresy surprisingly often these days. Why don't you go to the Liege with this matter? We will verify this rumor, Reverend Hieronymus. Why don't you go to the Liege? I do not walk the paths pleasing to the Liege. Hieronymus frowns. Vladium is weak and riddled with worms on the inside. He seeks to please his Casbalica masters, those peddlers of relics of unholy Xenos. I come across heresy surprisingly often these days. Indeed, dark times are upon us, and wretched souls grow ever more eager to embrace heresy. Where are we? Embrace heresy. Both on Footfall and elsewhere, its foul buds are coming into bloom. Troubling news is arriving from many planets. There are whispers of wicked things taking place on Kyver Gamma, and just recently a transport ship by the name of Navica, teeming with refugees, arrived on Footfall from Winterscale's realm. Their world was stricken with blasphemous sedition. Sedition. Language or behavior that is intended to persuade other people or to oppose their government.
Sedition.
And such was severity that they had to flee to save themselves. The Liege refused to accept them, and so they headed for Foul Stone, a desolate cloister of the righteous. It was wise of them not to linger in this den of vileness. We will verify this rumor, Reverend Hieronymus. With great pleasure, Argenta lays a hand on her weapon. I almost wish for the rumor to be true. My heart yearns to battle some heretics. Jeez. This is where I bid you goodbye, sister, noble Sir Deepest. Is there more you wish to ask me about? What are you doing on Footfall? Is it true that the pirate Dens Bellarado was your parishioner, and that he endowed the Drusians with donations? It is. Over the course of his life, that reprobate had burdened his soul with many vile and egregious acts. His confessions were akin to a grand catechism.
Catechism.
Catechism. A group of questions and answers, especially about a set of Christian beliefs. I see. Listing humankind's imminent vices and enormities. It was all the more painful for him to realize that, of all the heinous acts he had committed, not one had been forgotten by the Emperor. Dens Bellarado was afraid of death and that which would await him after. He hoped to atone for his misdeeds, yearned to convince, if not the Emperor, then himself at least, that he had been more than a conscious speck of malignant mold his entire life. Everyone deserves a chance at redemption, and it is true for miscreants above all others. The greater the transgression, the more miraculous and wondrous the repentance. What are you doing on Footfall? What am I doing in this den of blasphemers, pagans, and vilest of souls, you mean to say? Well, Footfall is the first and last stop in the Cronus Expanse. It is the point of arrival for those who have just started on their path, and it is also where those who are reaching its very end return, their souls wounded and bleeding. I embrace both, the former and the latter, so that they may cast an honest eye over their impurity. Furthermore, rumors from across the entire sector amass the Footfall. If I hear crewmen whispering about a reclaimed shrine, world, or expressions desired to carry the Emperor's light into the darkness among the stars, I help my flock in their sacred duty. Devoted trailblazers need assistance, both spiritual and material, tools, equipment, even garments, and simple everyday items. Anything that might help pilgrims on their long journey and during their first days of the harsh frontier, life is worth its weight in gold to us. May any help you offer to the effort of gathering such things be blessed. The path of true believers leads into darkness. The search for worlds that have lost his radiance, steeped in depravity. Blessed are the deeds of those who give themselves into the void and the warp in hopes that their actions might bring light into the darker reaches of the expanse and deliver a previously barren world into the Imperium's service. Eronimus is silent for a few seconds, and all the more bitter is the realization that not all brave souls will succeed in their mission. Footfall still awaits news from the Wasteland Wayfarer, an ancient ark of a ship headed for distant stars. Her last astropathic message was sent from beyond the Cinerus Malficum? Malficum? And the stars have kept her fate secret since. I bear another, darker duty. The expanse is filled with the tainted creations of unholy heretics. These insidious objects are a danger to the soul, but I know what to do with them. Should you, on your travels, come upon dangerous, corrupted objects, bring them to me, and the reward for your vigilance will be even more generous. The Drusian mission has much to share with the rogue trader. I'd like to take a look at what the followers of St. Drusus have to offer me. Let me see. We about to trade. Cost. Holy gifts. Give him a set, he deserves it. And he likes jewelry, huh? Give him 2 ship components. Give him a uniform kit. And armor kit, we got loads of those. Let's let some go. And as for everything else, I think that's it. Trade. Damn! He wants a lot. But I can take this off your hands. Give me that. Nice hit chance. All targets of Taunt and Scream suffer a 12 penalty to their willpower test against this ability. Give me that! Imperial Scroll. The warrior... No, this scroll grants the owner 15 bonus to law. Elite Chainsword. Sheesh. We might want that. We might just want that. Bloodhound Staff. The first use of an attacking navigator power per turn does not set the power on cooldown and does not count toward the attack limit per turn. Wait. The second use of this power or the use of a different attacking navigator power on the same turn deals an additional 6 damage to all targets and 6 direct damage to the navigator. So the navigator will take damage. We gotta test this out though. We gotta test this out. Does she even have attacking skills?
Color the uncolored.
Somewhat. Nah, she doesn't. But we gotta test that out. We gotta give her an attack. Where is it? Where is it? Was this one? We gotta test that out. I don't think I have anything to really test it with though. Attacking navigator power. I don't have an attacking navigator power. Or is it this? Yeah, we can try it with this. Cool, cool. We will try, we will try. She's not using a shotgun anytime soon. I'm gonna give her the other stuff. So, use the one with the eye when we're attacking. Use the one with the Imperium looking symbol when we're casting our spells on peeps. Gotta remember that rule. Yo, where is he? This guy wants a lot.
My cardiovascular augmentation can withstand much more than high blood pressure.
I might just give him all my stuff, you know. Might just give him all of this. Crazy, he's asking for so much. Jesus. Let's do it, let's do it. How much do I need? I need stuff, man. Alright, he's bleeding me, he's bleeding me. He's bleeding me dry. That might be enough. Fuck, I need one more. Alright. Trading. Oh, I still can't get this? Crazy. What is this? Emperor's Wrath. Everyone adjacent to the target point suffers. Damage and increases damage suffered by them until the end of combat. It's like a debuffing stuff. I want this sword, that's what I want. I thought my profit factor was gonna go up. I wouldn't have gave him all that stuff. It's fine. We ain't done talking to you. Where are you? Can we move our conversation to a place more befitting of people our rank? He's not gonna move. I have a question about faith. Tell me more about the Emperor. Oh, I didn't read. My sermon planted the seed of faith in the heart of another rogue trader once. Incendia Chorda. Perhaps you are destined to become my second fledgling. You think it is so easy to put into words his essence and splendor. The Emperor is the perfect deity that reads our hearts and grants us his light. He led humanity out of darkness and horror. He created our great home. He experienced torment and pain, which only made him stronger. That is a lesson to us all. Purity is not to be found at the bottom of the dirtiest hive. Purity is not to be found at the bottom of the dirtiest hive or in golden palaces, but among the ranks of those who suffer. Argenta silently makes the sign of the Aquila, her bright eyes burning with unyielding flame. What is the proper way to worship the Emperor? Pray to him, destroy his enemies, and touch not their poisoned gifts. Cast aside all doubt and be vigilant against the weak souls beside you. When you see a sign of taint, burn it away without pity. Pain is good. It tears the crust of vileness from one's souls. And remember that if you see no fault in you or around you, then you are not being diligent enough in your search, or you are being too lenient on yourself, averting your eyes from the truth. The Emperor's servants, who are they? You speak of Adeptus Ministorum. Well, these heralds of his word hold great power. Every priest, myself included, is part of its hierarchy. The ecclesiarchy possesses the unique right to judge what is virtuous and what is malign. The Adeptus Ministorum prays and cares for the temples and sends missions such as my own to every corner of the dominion of humanity. It fights against heresies. Dogmatic. May the Emperor bless his faithful servants. I imagine it is very advantageous for the ecclesiarchy to pose as a congregation of saints. Forgive me for not buying any of it. Let's say this. You think that his mercy extends that far? I have seen many who wish to be our shepherds. Power clouds their vision, and their greedy hands scoop up all that they can reach. The ecclesiarchy is long overdue for a cleansing. Many would consider your remarks about the ecclesiarchy to be heretical, and many others would find them truthful. I am a preacher of a radical teaching that renounces fear. I've left the bounds of the blessed Imperium to carry his light into the darkness of the frontier. I've come to know depravity firsthand, and I'm now able to perceive it under any guise. I think I can afford myself a modicum of truth. Who is the enemy of the Imperium? It has three faces: the inhumane Xenos, who wish death upon us simply because they are unlike us; the pitiful subhuman mutants, abominations that wish death upon us because they envy us and are ashamed of themselves; and the arch-enemy that reigns in the Immaterium, which wishes death upon us by its very nature. Idris starts giggling at Aronimus's words. He forgot to mention people like me. My whole life people have told me I am filth on the face of humanity. It's poison, it's bane. She stops abruptly with a sob. Tell me about Incendia Chorda. Have you heard of Aspice Chorda? Pirate, blasphemer, xenophile, and egregious apostate? Incendia is her heir, and a rarity among road traders. The protection of the Holy Warren typically leads to the swift atrophy of conscious and pious dread, but not in Incendia's case. She relentlessly hunts down pirates and firebrands and brings rebellion colonies to repentance. Establishing strict discipline, the weight of her wrath is great indeed. The colonies she punishes are girded with orbital rings of heretic corpses as a warning to the survivors. As her personal confessor and guide, I find no end to the joy her triumphs and faith bring me. Her intolerance is worthy of respect. Since when is orchestrating massacres a sign of virtue? Vertical, I see you have found yourself an excellent patroness, and now you're all too eager to spread the word of her piety. It seems to me, Zealot, that it's the killings that bring you joy. I just want to be chill with this guy, to be honest. Her intolerance is worthy of respect. It's good that you realize this. It may be difficult to admit, but mercy is a weakness and a gateway for degradation. Thank you for your explanations. Think nothing of it, young Von Valancius. Can we move our conversation to a place? Oh no. Tell me about yourself. Neither my past nor my present hold any secrets, but take heed when gazing into my heart, for many dark thoughts lurk within. What is troubling your heart? Bad omens, dark times have come. Ships from the Imperium barely appear in the Cronus expanse anymore. In fitful shadow quarters, taint thrives, and the people here are corrupt enough to succumb to it gladly. Rumors around the expanse say that the accursed Xenos have grown bold and are rearing their heads. They attack ships and settlements, walk under the suns of the Imperium worlds like kings instead of cowering in the shadows. What next? What adversaries await us if such disgrace is happening already? He shakes his head sternly. There is more and more talk of how poorly things are going in their expanse. Some days it seems I can't take 2 steps without hearing some peasant pontificating on the matter. That's probably like thinking. Even if it is as dire as they say, the Von Valancius realm will not crumble under the blows of fate, no matter how devastating. Chin up, Lord Captain. This is no time to lose heart and lament your lot. Not only is your hope false, it is also dangerous. Among his servants, there have been people of greater integrity who sullied themselves in their attempts to rise above the rest. Who were you in the past? A wretched fiend, blinded by my ambitions. I served in my home planet's Adeptus Administratum Division. I was a shrewd and sly bureaucrat. and I soared to great heights, to the very chair of perfect. In 30 years I turned my home from a withered fringe colony into a prosperous world. Our wealth grew as we bloomed. But the bloom was a veneer for rot. Opulence had depraved us, and luxury had seduced us with its sordid promises. The planet's denizens no longer wished to pray or work. They only sought entertainment and dangerous philosophies. 1,000 vile heresies and 1,000,000 appalling vices bred on my world like mold on a Nutribar. In those days I saw with my own eyes the shameless ugliness of the soul. I repented of my hubris, left the position of prefect, and became a traveling missionary. I have been one ever since. As for my world, 20 years later, the Holy Inquisition consigned it to purifying flames. Oof! The Emperor is merciful for allowing you a chance at redemption. Ah, so now that you are sated with baseness, you think you can lecture people. Chill, say nothing. Such was my path to faith. I have no more questions. I'm surprised that you had any to begin with. I must take my leave. The Emperor protects, and dialogue. I'm being chill with that guy just because of Argenta. You know? Gotta be cool to Argenta. Where are we at now? My patience, you remember the way out. Dismissed. The tall man in Oster.
Austere.
Austere, very simple with only the things that are absolutely necessary, especially because of severe limits on money or goods. Well, my patience, you remember the way out. Dismissed. The tall man in Oster grey clothes makes a show of looking past the woman he's addressing. Why is he being rude? Vladiam. What? As he put such harsh words into your mouth. You talk like you're an imperial clerk, not one of us. The woman who is standing with her back to you lets out an ostentatious sigh. Then her tone changes dramatically. Where's my cargo, Vladiam? Falco has it, doesn't he? So, that's how you do business with your old friends these days? She's wearing all the stuff. So, you don't remember? Then the help will remind you. Guards, escort her out. Escort her out. Hey, Dari, move. The massive guard leans down to the woman and says in a lowered voice, Jay, get going while he's letting you. Go drown your sorrows at the Damascus, and think your lucky stars you were able to walk out the door. You won't get the chance next time. Find the disgraced stranger. Okay, gotta go back to the bar. First an insult, and now threats. I see courtesy and tact are no longer a valued commodity on footfall. Oh well, I'll find myself a better deal. She turns on her heel and heads toward the exit. As she passes you by, she gives you a quick once over, winks at you, then immediately turns away with a flip of her jet black hair. Sheesh. Gonna Gonna have to go hit her up later. Tokora the Liege, the tall man who has long since noticed your presence, is studying you intently. Tokora, Liege of Footfall, let us please proceed to my office. A spread befitting a visitor of your rank is waiting. Your entourage will be accommodated nearby. Certainly, let's go. Please follow me. While you are engaged in small talk, you get a chance to take the measure of Liege Tokora. His expression is aloof and focused. Man, what an awkward table. What if I want that thing in the middle? I'm gonna have to get up and take a run to it. His expression is aloof, his gestures curt and firm, and his speech is calm and quiet, as though he is used to people always listening to what he says. Judging by his observant gaze, he has been studying you in turn this whole time. Vladium straightens in his chair and says in a polite but completely indifferent tone, "Let's talk business. On behalf of the elite of Footfall Station, I offer you my condolences, Lord von Valancius. We mourn Lady Theodora's loss, and we hope this sentiment is taken as a sign of our good intentions and willingness to cooperate." Thank you, Liege. A terrible loss for all of us. I hope that under your guidance, the dynasty can recover from this blow and attain even greater power. I am impressed by your prudence. Your decision to arrive on Footfall incognito without announcing either the death of the previous rogue trader or your own status. It was quite wise. The rumors will spread sooner or later. It's impossible to keep secret something that known to the thousands of people serving on the void ship, but for now you are free to reap the benefits of anonymity. Anonymity. I cannot say that word properly.
Anonymity.
Anonymity. I've heard much about your rare acumen, your outstanding intellect, or I should say about the profoundly impressive results you managed to achieve by using it. I have always had a fondness for individuals who can destroy their enemy or gain a powerful ally with just a few well-phrased sentences or precisely issued orders. The corners, I wonder what I did. The corners of Vladium's mouth twitch, bringing his expression dangerously close to a genuine smile. As you may have noticed, Footfall is currently in a state of crisis. Its people would benefit from the patronage of a figure such as yourself. Who was that woman? The warden threw out. Vladium's expression hardens and he makes a frustrated gesture. A dead woman walking. Some, however, still call her J. Haydari, a small-time hustler with big ambitions that will lead her to a stickly end. It's strange. A small-time hustler, even particularly audacious one, wouldn't likely quarrel in public with a figure as important as the Liege of Footfall. What seems stranger still is that the Liege knows this small fry by name. She is irrelevant. Since I'm the one in control of the situation on Footfall, I can speak on behalf of all of its noteworthy residents. I was attacked right at the docks. An outrageous stunt, a show of disrespect for both you and me. Sadly, such incidents on Footfall are akin to natural disasters, impossible to predict or preempt. They simply happen. Many consider Footfall to be a pirate den, but believe me when I say that there is a difference between organized crime and gangs of thugs who have nothing to lose. You were attacked by the latter. The Anvers are a gang of punks who spit on our customs and hierarchy. Even their leader is more akin to an ideologue.
Ideologue.
A person who believes very strongly in particular principles and tries to follow them carefully. I see. A rabble rouser who calls for people's heads, not a commoner. Sooner or later we will find him and have him strung up. That will likely cool his followers' enthusiasm. Behind the carefully built facade of composure, you sense anger. It appears that this man is not used to losing control, but that is exactly what is happening. I would like to know more about the Anvers gang. Why haven't they been dealt with yet? I am sorry for your loss of your assistant. I am sorry for the loss of your assistant. The negligence with which you do business is insulting for an individual of my stature. Grin at him. I can tell they've been a real pain for you. I bet you'd love those jokers. You'd love to gut those jokers, wouldn't you? Come on, admit it. You would, wouldn't you? Let's say that. A shark-like smile appears on Vladimir's face, bloody and vicious. Back to where I grew up, they call it throwing someone for a loop. They carve a particular sign on the person's forehead, then load them alive into the slag disposal chute and send them out to orbit. The station. Every 30 years we clean the orbit and count how many stiffs bearing which signs have been floating around. You have no idea how much I want to throw those little thugs for a loop, like in the good old days. What's the situation in the region? What sort of patronage do you seek from me? What's the situation in the region? Troubling. Xenos raids are growing more frequent, trade is suffering, and fringe worlds are going under. Rumors of atrocities being committed by enemies of humanity are causing excessive panic due to their exotic nature. The core of the Imperium forces in the Cronus Expanse has departed for the sector's borders to combat the Xenos threat. There has been no word for them for a while now. Then again, with the distance and the current issues with astropaths, that is not entirely out of the ordinary. Still, we are not yet alone. From several of the worlds hit by Xenos attacks, we've received reports of fierce warriors who descend from the sky and entered the fray. The fragmentary accounts lead me to believe that the blessed Adeptus Astartes are operating in the Cronus Expanse, and I await news of their victories with great anticipation, commonly known as Space Marines. I see these genetically engineered super soldiers are the most powerful and ferocious warriors of the Imperium. Have there been any Xenos attacks on Footfall? No, there haven't. Attacking Footfall in general is not a particularly reasonable thing to do. Many ships are docked here at any given time, and even the listed weapons on board would make for a decent fighting force. And that's not even to mention the firepower that our esteemed merchants have shamefully hidden from the station's customs officials. For us here, Xenos are more of a source of income than a threat. Vladium freezes, gauging your reaction. Vladium. Let's say Vladium. Are we talking about dealing in Xeno artifacts here? In a manner of speaking, miraculously, Vladium has managed to frame the last sentence as a question. Footfall is a place where anything can be bought, and mind you, where anything can be sold. You should consider your words more carefully. An admission like that sounds dangerously close to heresy. I do not approve of fear of Xenotech. One must know and understand the enemy. Naturally, I find this utterly unacceptable. I have no desire to speak about this, but my seneschal is a good listener. Lay your disgraceful gossip on him. Let's say this. I am convinced that your connections with Footfall will allow you to broaden your knowledge and understanding the Xenos considerably. I will see to it that your curiosity is satisfied in every way. What sort of patronage do you seek from me? Protection, not military protection, but a different kind of security. You have, of course, already encountered difficulties with warp navigation on your way here. I am afraid the scope of these difficulties extends far beyond this area. Reports of disrupted routes and ships vanishing during short jumps are coming from across the entire sector. Communication with the Calixus sector has been extremely unstable. Of the ships that have dived into the Maw in recent years, whoop, no. None have yet returned. The last ship that came through the Maw from the other side was struck by a temporal anomaly. The jump took almost 2 decades in real space-time. Sheesh. You have heard of periods of warp instability, including cases where the Maw would become completely inaccessible for navigation for years on end. Okay, wait, what is Maw? A turbulent region of space that divides the Cronus Expanse from the rest of the Imperium of Man, okay? So it's not in the warp. From the Imperium. Even so, Vladium's words are particularly alarming. It seems that something has had a profound effect on the Maw. And this brings us to our main issue. Footfall is a repair shipyard and a trading post. We barely produce anything ourselves and are largely dependent on incoming shipments, especially food shipments. The station naturally has some reserves, but the supply issues didn't start yesterday. Footfall would be obliged if House von Valantius would assist us by signing a contract for food deliveries. I can't be the only one you've asked for help. Naturally, I tried contacting other rogue traders, but the terms of House Chorda would have bled Footfall dry, and as for the esteemed Caligos Winterscale, instead of a food shipment from him, I received a transport, the Navica, packed with refugees. I had to send them off to Valstone. So many extra mouths to feed would have only worsened the crisis further. I suppose all these warp fluctuations must have created more pressing concerns for Lord Winterscale, and so I put my faith in you, the third and last of Footfall's allies. So, Footfall is cut off from all the shipments, the local gangs are running wild, and local hustlers are throwing tantrums in your residence. Are you positive you're in control of the station? If you are so fond of my acumen, then do not insult it by putting on a brave face now. We both know that you have far greater need of me than I have of you. Oh, we're gonna say that. Adium listens with a stony expression. You are very perceptive. Well, now you know what you're buying. The situation is difficult, but should you decide to offer your support, you'll forget about the existence of trading hubs other than Footfall, because you won't have more loyal friends anywhere else. Let's say this. Ladium listens with a stony expression. You are very perceptive. Well, so what are the terms of this deal? It's simple. Delivery of food shipments from your fertile worlds. Janus, I imagine. I'm quite familiar with that jewel of von Valantius Protectorate in exchange for fair payment. Get on your knees and ask properly, then I'll help. Ooh, we ain't gonna ask for that. The payment will be unfair, as I will be robbing you blind, but you will remain in charge. Do we have a deal? Very well, I will help you with food shipments. I will help Footfall, but not out of desire for profit. I have no interest in obtaining any favors in kind or becoming your patron. Only in saving people's lives. Yeah, let's say that. Vladium's gaze is slightly distrustful. Such charity is a rare sight in the Cronus Expanse. Even figures as powerful as the rogue traders do not show it often. Thank you, your lordship. I would like to know more about the Anvis gang. Why haven't they been dealt with yet? He grits his teeth slightly before answering. I've been using all my resources to delay the moment when the station is hit by famine. I haven't gotten around to the Anvers yet. As detrimental as they are no players. When their leader dies, the rest will scatter. Where does one go to make a few deals here on the station? Other matters demand my attention. What is happening in the Shadow Quarters? Why is there quarantine? Oh, that, he grimaces. Who knows? That could be an actual epidemic. Or perhaps the two families that started it all just came down with food poisoning at the same time. We're on a space station. The best solution here is to isolate the area and wait for the problem to resolve itself. I've been told that when the previous liege was faced with a similar situation, he ordered that the entire asteroid be detached and dropped into the star. Jesus. You could have at least supplied the people trapped in the quarantine zone with food and water. I wish to help the people in the quarantine zone. I will have medicine delivered to them from my ship. Let's say this. I can't bar you from doing so, but I can't help but note that it's not the wisest course of action, with all due respect, your lordship. I have some questions about Footfall. What oath were you referring to? Rest assured, I will be candid. My lips are bound by the oath of service. What exactly interests you in Footfall, this abode of merchants, xenotech traders, and only a few bandits? Who holds the reins of the xenogoods trade? The Casabalica Mission, a criminal syndicate that has seized control of the entirety of the code trade in the sector. Xenos creations are in high demand, and so every single colony has a Casabalican agent or two. Opposing their commercial interests is a lot more dangerous than using their merchandise. A pale ghost of a smile appears on his lips. Still, making friends with this organization is as profitable as it is dangerous to make enemies of them. And it just so happens that I have managed to earn their trust. And on Footfall, they conduct their business under my watchful eye. He sends you a meaningful look. Something tells me you used to be a bit of a bandit yourself. You aren't wrong, my path was long and bloody, but in the end I rose from running a gang that had staked its claim to a treatment filter station to becoming the Liege of Footfall. Many died to make this possible, and those who survived figured it would be more convenient to put me at the head than continue the slaughter of the turf war. I can only hope that my elevation and the peace that came with it have done the station good. And what will happen to you if I tell everything I've just heard to the leaders of other gangs? There is a sound logic to having the sharpest mind run the station. The administrator would have installed some pitiful clerk instead. I appreciate your bread. How do you say bread? I can't say it. Bread. Breadth. I appreciate your breadth of thinking. In this day and age, few chose to allow themselves such a thing. Breadth. I have no more questions. I'm glad to have satisfied your curiosity. Where does one go to make a few deals here on the station? Other matters demand my attention. Then I won't take up any more of your time. Whew, what the hell are we gonna do? I want to kill some bandits. Not gonna lie. So they're not gonna let me in the quarantine? I wanted to ask that too. Open the goddamn door. I have a few questions. Okay.
None shall stand in my way.
So I could only choose a few options there. Oh, Lord Captain. I am pleased to report that the inspections have been complete and all identified system failures have been resolved. The void ship is ready to depart Footfall. The crew is waiting for your further instructions. And there are also a number of issues that need to be addressed. Always with the issues.